What's going on, guys? JSGC here, back again for another Manchester City transfer update. Before I do crack on with this video with a huge update on Tijjani Reijnders and more, make sure, like always, if you are enjoying the content, then do subscribe to my channel. I am aiming for 44,000 subscribers by the time the transfer window opens, which is on Sunday. Ambitious, but we're less than 400 subs away, so any help towards that would be much appreciated. Remember, I'm going to keep you guys up to date with all the latest City transfer news here on YouTube every single day from Sunday, so make sure you have subscribed. It is free. Social media links are in the description if you want to go and follow me on my X, Instagram and TikTok. Email also in the description too if you want to hit me up for any sponsorships for any videos or any general business inquiries. Don't forget as well to get your thoughts in the comments below. And finally, we absolutely smashed the 700 like goal, so big shout out to you guys, absolute legends. Let's aim for it again, 700 likes. Any help towards that would be much appreciated. So before I do crack on with this transfer update, if you guys want to go and check out Khaldoon part 2 of his end of season interview discussing all things about Manchester City and the City Football Group. He's spoken about the 115 charges, the progress being made inside the City Football Group. He spoke about the fans and much more. Do go and check it out. It is available on Man City's YouTube channel. Very interesting, both part 1 and part 2 of what Khaldoon has had to say about the past season. So we've got no contract news. We're going to dive straight on in with the outs. We've got the latest on Liam Delap, no longer a Manchester City player, but he is close to joining Chelsea for £30 million, given the here we go from Fabrizio Romano. And I'm speaking about that because the deal that took Liam Delap from Manchester City to Ipswich Town last summer, Man City included a 20% sell-on fee, which means Manchester City are going to be getting 20% of that fee that Chelsea are paying to Ipswich Town, which is obviously £30 million, and 20% is a cool £6 million into Manchester City's back pocket that we can use towards spending on another player. And it's crazy to think that that's 1/4 of the amount for the transfer fee to bring in Ryan Cherki. Crazy. Anyway, moving on, we've got the latest on Divin Mubama, the youngster at Manchester City, who City brought in from West Ham United. And Fabrizio Romano has said that Ipswich Town, they want to replace Liam Delap with another high-quality young striker from Manchester City, and that is Divin Mubama. Now, Lille are also interested in signing Mubama from Manchester City this summer. City are looking for around £10 million if there is to be a permanent sale of the 20-year-old striker. I was hoping that Divin would be around the Man City squad for the upcoming season, because obviously I know we've got Erling Haaland available and Omar Marmoush will be the next option in playing as the striker, and we've got Oscar Bob coming back from injury, so Mubama's place in the squad's just kind of being pushed back. But it all remains to be seen about in the long run what Man City want to do with Oscar Bob. And I just feel like in terms of a high quality player coming or being promoted through the Man City Academy into the first team squad, Mubama's done absolutely nothing wrong. He has spent a little bit of time around the first team squad, and he actually looks like a really good striker. So I'd like to have seen him around the first team squad. Here we are. The Mail have been reporting that Man City don't want to sell Divin Mubama this summer. They would prefer, if he is to leave the club, to leave on loan rather than a permanent transfer. However, Ipswich Town are not interested in a loan, would only be keen on a permanent transfer. So if they are to do that, then they're going to have to pay what Man City's asking price is, which City are looking at around £10 million. I imagine they'll include another good sell-on fee in terms of that, and they would include a buyback clause as well. Now, moving on to the other story that we have in the outs, comes in the form of an update on James McAtee, and he's been included today in the England under-21 squad for the under-21 European Championships this summer. This is going to be taking place through June and July, and because of James McAtee making the decision, I presume there's been correspondence between the England under-21s and Manchester City, because I believe that Man City had asked the question about keeping hold of James McAtee for the Club World Cup, that England under-21s have ended up coming out on top, and the player obviously prefers to be spending the under-21 European Championships with the England under-21 side rather than the Club World Cup with Manchester City. So he's going to be going to the European Championships with the England under-21 side rather than spending time with the Man City squad for the Club World Cup. So yeah, very interesting that. Remember, James McAtee does have 12 months left on his Man City contract. There's no talks about a new contract. Man City are looking for £20 to £25 million for him this summer. And for me, this is the clearest indication that we've had yet that James McAtee's future just isn't at Manchester City. And City will be actively looking for a sale, which I wouldn't rule out that being sorted during the England Under-21 European Championship campaign. So, interesting. Anyway, the MEN have said that James McAtee would prefer a move to the Bundesliga ahead of the Premier League. He believes that Germany is better than England for developing young talents, and so he sees himself playing in Germany. We know that Bayer Leverkusen are interested in bringing in James McAtee, and other Bundesliga clubs are interested as well. Some interest coming in from England. We've heard Wolves' name being mentioned, Tottenham Hotspur's name's out there, Nottingham Forest showing a lot of interest as well. Any of the clubs that want to bring James McAtee in, though, remember, do have to pay the Manchester City price that they're looking for, and City looking for around £20 to £25 million. Not too sure if City will include a buyback clause on that, but City will certainly include some kind of sell-on fee. We'll have to wait and see what the finer details are, but James McAtee very much looking like another high-quality young player leaving Manchester City. Now, moving on to the end, we've got some updates on some new staff for Pep Guardiola, and Fabrizio Romano has put two names out there. Apparently, former City defender Kolo Toure is under consideration to join Pep Guardiola's backroom staff. Kolo Toure does have previous management experience. He did manage Wigan Athletic for a very short period during the 2022-2023 season. Manchester City are also having a look at Pep Lijnders, another Pep at Manchester City, the former Red Bull Salzburg manager, who managed them back in 2024. So City just looking to add a couple more extra heads, basically, to the backroom staff of Pep Guardiola, who will have a different alternative way of thinking. I'm under the impression that Kolo Toure would probably be looking towards trying to help manage Manchester City in terms from a defensive aspect, and in terms of Lijnders, don't know too much about him, but I do know from his little stint that he did have in management, it's all about running. So very clear that Man City here are looking about just maybe trying to tighten things up at the back, but also looking for a lot of runners and fitness in their squad. So cue more injuries to the squad, which to me is just as important when we're looking at transfers, in particular players coming in, that we look at the injury track record and making sure that we're signing players who are in the peak of their fitness prime, basically, and we're looking here for players who are going to keep themselves fit, who are capable of playing 50, 60 games in a season, rather than players who aren't going to be available for us for a long time. And I think it's just Man City just focusing more on looking for players who are going to keep themselves fit, who aren't injury prone, and probably does clarify why Man City are probably not as interested in Andrea Cambiasso as what they were in the January transfer window, because to put it quite plainly, he's been injury prone over the last season, and I don't think City want to be paying big money for players who potentially aren't capable of keeping themselves fit. So they're just trying to move on from the likes of John Stones and Nathan Ake, who have really struggled when it comes to being able to keep themselves fit and available for selection. Anyway, moving on, we've got a midfielder to speak about. Quick line on Ederson, the Brazilian central midfielder from Atalanta, 25 years old. Atalanta are looking for more than £60 million for him this summer. Now, Ederson isn't apparently keen on signing a new contract with Atalanta, and apparently Atalanta are seeing this as a real good time with the ceiling value hit on Ederson, that they're looking to try and move him on this summer. Anyway, he's been linked with a move to Barcelona in Spain, along with moves to the Premier League, including Manchester United and Liverpool. And Corriere dello Sport over in Italy have said that Man City remain keen once more. Now, I don't see this being true. I see this being a recycled effort from what happened in the last summer transfer window and the January transfer window, which was Man City were interested but chose never to follow that interest up, and they're just putting City's name out there as a feeler, because I don't believe City would be looking at Ederson, considering we're showing a lot of interest right now in the likes of Tijjani Reijnders, in Morgan Gibbs-White, and also in Rayan Cherki as well. So I don't see them going for Ederson too. I can't see that being true. Maybe it might be true if we end up not signing one of the three named players when it comes to central midfielders, but for me, I just feel like a tactic's being used here from sources in Italy to try and get maybe Atalanta a little more money, or trying to get the player a little more money from a potential buying club, or trying to get more of an agent fee for his agent if he's putting stories out there. Who knows? I just think City's name's being used, and I don't see this being a legitimate interest to Manchester City. Now, moving on to the final transfer, we've had a massive day when it comes to Tijjani Reijnders. So it was being reported earlier on this morning that Matteo Moretto over in Italy had said that Man City had upped their initial bid up to 60 million euros. We're looking at 50.46 million pounds all in for Tijjani Reijnders, which wasn't enough according to AC Milan, and talks were going to be continuing over the coming days to try and find them agreements. He was saying that this was Man City's first offer that had been put in place despite reports of numerous offers coming in this week for Tijjani Reijnders. Remember, Reijnders is a 26-year-old Dutch central midfielder from AC Milan. And then CalcioMercato had said that offer went in 2 days ago, and it was worth 60 million euros, which was made up of 55 million euros as an upfront fee with 5 million euros in bonuses. So we're looking at 46.26 million pounds as the initial bid, with 4.2 million pounds in bonuses included on this deal, which AC Milan rejected 2 days ago. And then CalcioMercato came back and were reporting literally within an hour of this information coming out that Manchester City had gone back in this morning, with another offer for Tijjani Reijnders worth a total of 58.87 million pounds, 70 million euros, so less than 60 million pounds, an offer all in. The final details do need sorting on this transfer. They do say that a basic agreement is now in place between Manchester City and AC Milan for the transfer for Man City to sign Tijjani Reijnders from AC Milan. So the deal has been agreed today. It's been struck today, this morning. That's done and dusted. What we're waiting for now, and the finer details will be sorted over the coming days, where we're going to see Tijjani Reijnders become a Manchester City player. I suspect that Man City will want to try and get this sorted, all the I's dotted and the T's crossed, to make sure that this transfer can happen in time for the Club World Cup. Remember, the transfer window for everybody. Apologies for my misinformation in yesterday's transfer update. The transfer window here in England is open from June 1st through to June 10th. It shuts for 6 days and then is open again on June 16th for all clubs in England, not just for Manchester City and Chelsea. It's been brought in so Manchester City and Chelsea can get some business done in time to bring players in for the Club World Cup. I'm not too sure why they didn't just say we're opening the transfer window from June 1st and we're going to be shutting it again. I presume this is all to do with registrations here in England, and this is predominantly just being used for the purpose of the Club World Cup. So I'm not expecting the transfer window to be overly that busy for any of the clubs, apart from Man City and Chelsea, who may look to try and strike deals for 1, 2, maybe 3 players to bring them in ahead of the Club World Cup, which is certainly what Man City are trying to do here with Tijjani Reijnders. The plan will be to get everything sorted for the early parts of next week for Tijjani Reijnders to come to Manchester City to complete his medical, sign his contract, ready for him to go back to the Netherlands to compete during the international duties that he's got coming with the Netherlands through June, before he'll then join back up with Manchester City ahead of the Club World Cup, as was reporting in my previous transfer update. He was planning to head out on holiday to Ibiza, but not happening anymore. He's going to be instead heading over to North America, as of course we're going to be seeing of course Tijjani Reijnders joining Manchester City. So do remember, the transfer window opens this Sunday, June 1st, which will also start my daily Manchester City transfer update throughout the whole of June, July and August. I can't wait. It's going to be a busy one, guys. Reijnders is going to be starting the madness that is the summer 2025 transfer window. So let it commence. So if you are new around here, make sure that you have subscribed. Remember, less than 400 subs away from my aim by Sunday. We're going mega ambitious. See if we can hit 44,000 subscribers. I'm going to keep you guys up to date every single day here on YouTube with all the latest City transfer news. So if you haven't already, do subscribe. Also, don't forget social media links there in the description if you want to go and follow me on my X, Instagram and TikTok. Email also in the description too if you want to hit me up for any sponsorships or any videos or any general business inquiries. Get your thoughts in the comments below, and let's see if we can smash 700 likes once more on this transfer update. Did it in the last one. Let's see if we can do it on this one as well. Any help towards that would be much appreciated. I'll see you all again tomorrow for more City transfer content, as I'm going to be looking at 5 wingers Manchester City could sign ahead of the summer transfer window. I've been speaking about previous positions all through this week. They're all on my channel if you want to go and check them out along with my previous transfer updates. And I'll see you all again real soon. So I've been JSGC. Thank you everyone for watching. Hope everyone is safe and well. Peace. Ciao for now.